Hello, everybody. Beth's Golden here. First of all, I would just like to say that my family is home today because it's a Saturday and they're all downstairs messing around with each other, I think, in the kitchen. So, with that being said, I'm going to be working on some Halloween ATC cards that I am doing for a swap. And the theme is obviously Halloween. And so I went ahead and downloaded from Calico Collage this gorgeous sheet of witches. And so I'm going to use these as my base for my cards. And then, so I'm going to set this aside for a minute and get these prepped, which are what I'm going to use as my ATCs. I found this summer at basically like a little craft fair, peddler's market in my hometown, this interesting tent that was selling just a whole bunch of sports paraphernalia for dirt cheap. And so for 20 cards, it was just basically, I think it was either 20, I think, no, maybe it was 100 cards of grab bags for $1. And so of the players cards. So trading cards. And that's the exact same size that I need for my ATCs always. I make a lot of ATCs. I can't even cut paper for that cheap. And I love them because they are sturdy. So I figured, hey, I'm going to buy a whole bunch of them. I think I spent $5 on them, and I have a lifetime supply now, probably of backgrounds and bases for my ATCs. So I'm going to build my Halloween card on top of this. But before I do that, I do want to do a signature stamp on the back. So I've decided that I need to go ahead and just do a little bit of gesso over some of this so that I can sign my card. So I'm just using some white gesso, excuse me, not gesso, gesso. And it's just, I'm not even going to gesso the entire card, just enough so that I can sign it. And I'm gonna actually put the base of my card, the front of my card on the back of the baseball card, because I only use copier paper on this and it might show through, and I don't want the sports to show through necessarily, but the back with the stats and stuff, that might actually add kind of a cool, element to it if it leaks through. That does have, the player on the back, and, I'm not going to worry about that. But, so I just thought that it would be better if I just covered the front. Now, I don't know if these are really worth anything, to be honest with you. I don't collect. I did have someone go through the ones that I bought and had me pull several that are of value. So they went through all of them and pulled the ones that were of value. I hope no one's sitting here cringing as I do this. Sorry if you are, but yeah. Oh well. I'm not a baseball card or sports playing card, any kind of card trader. So to me, for basically, $3 for 300 cards was a good deal. So I'm just going to get this ready to go and done. And then I'm going to set this aside and dry while I trim down my ATC cards. I thought it would be fun, pull this out again, to show, to put, even though these are similar backgrounds, they all have the same theme, I like to do different things on my cards. So I thought it would be fun to do, like, on this one, this gal right here, and then a moon here, because she has a little moon hat on. And that's kind of spooky with the child face there. A skull here. I was thinking a moon one there, and then this little face here. So before I do that, though, I need to go ahead. These are naked. They're raw. And she's naked too. But before I go ahead, I'm sorry. And get these, you know, I have to treat these. I have to paint them or spray them. I'm going to spray them. And these resin pieces, this one actually is already done for me. It's a sugar skull. These pieces are all by Lisa Kettle Designs. And so I love it when she does hers, but then these are cool too because they're so versatile. I can make this into something vintage and beautiful. You could put like crackle paint down on it and put it on a vintage ATC card, or you could paint it, you know, with like a peachy pink and actually do something really beautiful for a baby shower card. So there's a whole bunch of variations that you can do to these pieces to make them work for what you're working on. And I'm going to actually make them kind of spooky because that's what we're working on, kind of eerie. Oh, this is by a company called Pork Chops. It's a wooden little piece. I think the piece is beautiful. My issue with them is I think that they're expensive and they don't come clean. They actually come dirty with a little notice when you get them in the mail, not on their website, that you may have to wipe them down. And when I spend almost $1 or $2 a piece, I expect them to be clean when I get them. So yeah, this is cute. I'm going to use them. The stuff is, it hasn't lifted. It's a laser on wood. It hasn't lifted. However, I think it's a little bit overpriced considering that they have a smoky smell to them, which doesn't bother me. That's okay. I understand why, but they're not clean. They're not necessarily clean. And so I think when you're spending between $1 and $2 a piece, they should clean them. All right. Anyway, here we go. So I want to do, I'm not sure what color. I'm thinking the vanilla is going to be this vanilla custard is going to be the color I'm going to do the moon in, and then I'm going to cover it. I'm going to spray it with a tea stain beautiful gold. This is the color is tea stain. It's gorgeous by Prima. So I'm going to cover everything with that once I get the initial color on. However, I think it's going to be this. I'm not sure. So it could be a mix of sunshine and the vanilla custard. So I'm just going to spray it on my spray mat to see what color I get. Like that's a little bit too orangey. So yeah, I think it's going to be definitely the vanilla custard for the moons. So let me put these out first and let's just go ahead and spray them with the vanilla custard. And I'm going to spray the backs too. I love that look. You could go ahead and paint them, but I really like that kind of that look. I just think that's so pretty. So let me go ahead and heat set this a little bit, and then I'm going to put the next layer on. Work them out with some slate gray dilution ink spray. I want to cover all four of these images in the tea stain, just to give a little bit of shimmer. I think that these are absolutely perfect. I love them. They look eerie, they match, those faces look just spooky beautiful. So we're going to set this aside and we're going to trim down the base of our cards. So to cut this down, I'm going to just be using my cutter putter because I like this because this is a titanium blade on here, and so I never have to change it. It never dulls. And sometimes with my Fiskar can dull out, and then I get uneven, cuts and whatnot. And what's really cool is there's an LED light panel right down here, and so it shows you exactly like where you're going to cut. It is so awesome. It gives this line of where it's going to cut. And this is important for like digital stuff, because sometimes it might pull the paper through incorrectly and you're left with, you know, some, like right now I'm lining it up flush with the edge on the other side, and so it pulled my paper through incorrectly. No, it's nothing to do with my digital image. The digital image is actually straight, and so I'm not getting that straight cut. And so when I line it up here, I know exactly where it's going to cut because the line shows through. It's so, I just love it. It's so cool. And it can cut really, really narrow pieces on fine paper. Okay, so I've trimmed them all down to 2.5 by 3.5 to fit onto our cards. And now I need to go ahead and just adhere these cards. But before I do that, I need to make sure that they're nice and dry. The reason why I'm opting to adhere this with craft glue is so that I can kind of smoosh it around and get a really, really nice coverage all over, and it will be smooshed on the edges and it won't lift. So that's why I've decided to do it, and it dries clear. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so they've all been adhered to the baseball card, and they're nice and sturdy now. They still have to dry a little bit, but overall they're pretty, I can decorate them. They're okay. I am picking up wet spots from the gesso on the gesso. I keep wanting to call it gesso. It's gesso on the back because I need to put my signature on the back first. I don't want to get it all bulky and then stamp the back. So I'm going to put my signature on back. Then we're going to ink the edges and decorate these little cute, spooky Halloween cards. So I'm just going to use some surface ink and then my signature stamp, which I designed and had made by Joy Claire. You can get yours done too. I think they're like 15 bucks. It's so awesome. But this is my signature. And a lot of times on ATC cards, you want to put like the information where people can find you and whatnot. But I'm noticing that that's not necessarily always the case. Sometimes if you just have your name on the back, that's all you really need. And so I have this beautiful stamp that has all the information that I fill in, you know, how many cards is in the series and what number is this card and what's the theme and your information and your name and da 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 da. And you have to hand fill that in. And for, you know, something like this, when people already know you and know where you are, you know, and in today's age, they can literally just do a search under Bet's Golden and boom, there I am. No point, right? So I'm just going to save myself some time and just do my signature on the back, because you always want to at least sign your stuff. You don't want to just, you know, not sign it. That's no good. People want to know who you are. Be proud of your work. And I am doing it exceptionally messy. There's one. So now they've been kind of grunged up. We're going to go ahead and just decorate each individually. I am going to do for sure these 6 things that I pulled from my little stash. And then I also, just in case I need more, I have some Halloween bling that I picked up along the way at Hobby Lobby when they have their wonderful sale of 50% off. So if I need to use these, I will. So I'm going to start with the ones that I know, I remember what goes on them. And that first one is this one with the little moon hat. I remember that this needs to have the little moon right there. So I do think that I am going to put some bling on this. And usually you want your ATCs to be relatively flat. I'm the host of this and I didn't specify that. So, you know, they're not flat. And I hope that my girls will will like them, or the people that are in the ATC swaps will like them enough not to want to kill me because they're not flat. And I'm just laying this out first so I know where to lay it. Perfect. And there we go. One ATC done. Isn't that so cool? It's just so much fun. I absolutely love it. Such a great way to use beautiful art into your work on your ATC and use your stash. I mean, love it. Okay, so the next one I know was this one. Also had the moon. Okay, so that one I just finished up. Let's go ahead and move on to, I think I have put this one right here. And this time, I want to use some of these, but I'm going to put him down first. I'm sorry that I'm sniffling so much. I have a very, very nasty cold that I got on vacation when we were at the beach in Santa Monica. We stayed on the beach on this beautiful hotel, and we all came home with this cold. I think my kids picked it up from school first and just, you know, shared it with the rest of us, which was awesome. Now, I am trying to hide her chest a little bit just because I don't want anyone to be offended when they get this. That's not my point. I personally love it. I think the human body is gorgeous, but I understand that not everyone shares my opinion in art with this. I think most of the people in my group do, but just to be on the safe side, if they decide to share this swap on Instagram or, you know, on their channel, I don't want them not to be able to or have to worry about hiding something that's inappropriate, so I'm trying to do it for them. All right, so this one is done. And now, oh yes, this one I think would be absolutely perfect with this. So gorgeous. And I want to take just a couple of these little small black swirlies, because that witch right there, she says it all. I don't want to take away from that. I'm just going to do that one right there. And then I'm going to add another one up here. I'm going to set her right there. And then this one, and this is when we add the little spooky baby face. And I'm not done with this one yet. There's something I'm going to add to each of them that have the stars at the end. And it's going to go right there. Just that spooky little girl face. Okay. All right. So these are done. And I'll have close-up pictures of all of them for you. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Go ahead and give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Make sure that you find me on Instagram under Bets Golden. Also, visit my blog at www.scrappycafe.blogspot.com. I put a lot of things on Instagram that don't make my YouTube. I also do a lot of step outs on my blog, and it's kind of my home base so that you can see where else I'm designing for. So sometimes I'm featured on Brutus Monroe, sometimes I'm featured on WeCraft, on Renia, so it kind of helps you go get to those places if you want to see some more projects with some other cool lines. All right, so I hope you guys had fun. I had fun, and go check out Calico Collage and their digital downloads. All right, until next time, happy crafting.